Look, as a Flames fan, it pains me to say it, but we pretty much know that the top four spots in the North Division, they're basically clinched, right? We know that it's going to be the Habs, the Leafs, the Jets, and the Oilers in the 21 playoffs for the North Division. The question now is placement, standings, who's going to be where, right? I mean, most people will probably pick the Leafs to win the division, but again, there's three other spots there that you have to determine who's going to go where, and this is really interesting. And I want to talk about the Habs today. Who would be their best playoff matchup? Because there's three teams there that none of them are going to be easy, but depending on who you played in the regular season and how you played them, and yes, I know the playoffs is a completely different animal, and it is too early for this. I very well understand that, and a lot of things are going to change and shift around, especially after the trade deadline here. But again, it's a very interesting discussion, given that we know that these are going to be the four teams in the playoffs. First off, the Leafs. Now look, of course this is the juicy one that a ton of people want. Habs-Leafs playoff series, how awesome would that be? And yes, the Leafs would be favorites in that series, but I do not think it would be a cakewalk for Toronto. I think that the Habs would put up a fight. It would be an absolute dogfight of a series, and the Habs could very well beat the Leafs in a playoff series there. I don't think it would be anywhere near a guarantee for Toronto or easy for the Leafs, and I do think the Habs can walk in, especially with either a hot Carey Price or a hot Jake Allen, or maybe a bit of both. They can use that to their advantage, right? And I think that the Habs could definitely beat the Leafs in a first-round series. Now, other than entertainment purposes, if you're looking at the best matchup for the Habs to make it the easiest route for them to get to the next round, I don't think you're looking at the Leafs. Because yeah, Habs fans might not want to admit it, but the Toronto Maple Leafs are a very, very good team this year, and I don't think you want to mess with them. So honestly, you're probably looking at one of Winnipeg or Edmonton. Now, immediately in a Habs fan's head, oh, we've played Edmonton really well this year, and we can shut down McDavid and Draisaitl. That should be the one to go, right? See, I look at that, and again, this is coming from a Flames fan, and Connor McDavid owns the Calgary Flames, but when these two guys, Draisaitl, McDavid, they go on a tear, it is so incredibly difficult to stop them. And if you can stop them for one game, that's great. But stopping them for an entire series, good luck, man. And as far as Winnipeg goes, overlooked all season, this team is money, dude. I mean, they've got such a well-rounded, complete team. Okay, and yes, at the trade deadline, they will be looking for a defenseman to shore up that position, but when you've got one of the best in the world between the pipes in Connor Hellebuck, you've got an incredible forward group with depth, talent, skill, and work ethic. This team can go far, okay? So the Jets are scary, but so are the Oilers. That's why I said at the beginning of this video, everybody's scary. It's not going to be easy with anybody. And when is it ever in the Stanley Cup playoffs, by the way? I mean, that's what makes them so great, is that they're never a cakewalk. It's almost never the first place President's Trophy team that goes on and wins the Stanley Cup. It's so rare, and that's the best thing about it. There's always a Cinderella story, an 8th place team that goes on a great run. We always see things like that, and that's why I love the playoffs so much. But to me, I would pick Edmonton. I know what I just said, okay? McDavid and Draisaitl, containing them is going to be incredibly difficult over the course of a playoff series. But Montreal might be able to use their strength to lean on some of Edmonton's weaknesses, that being the defense. I know Darnell Nurse is having a Norris Trophy level season, but dude, they can't play Darnell Nurse 30 minutes a night. Tyson Barrie having a renaissance season, but defensively, he's still not the strongest. Ethan Bear has shown some weakness in how he's played lately, and look, his youth is definitely showing he needs some more experience, and until he gets that, he's going to be on the shakier side in terms of the defense. And then you've got guys like William Lagesson. You've got also guys like Chris Russell filling out that decor. I don't know about that, man. And then, of course, you've got the king of all worries for Edmonton Oilers fans. It's the net, okay? I know everybody's going to point to Mike Smith's numbers. His numbers are incredible this year. But the thing about Mike Smith, and I've said it before, he can be awesome, but he can also be awful. Okay, and it can just turn like a switch. Okay, he could go from being the best goalie in the league to the worst goalie in the league in the span of one game. So you really got to watch out with him. And the good news for Edmonton is Mikko Koskinen is back there as a safety net, and also Alex Stalock. But we've seen it before. The crease in Edmonton can implode, and that's where Montreal can really exploit the defense and the goaltending. But again, toughest thing, McDavid and Draisaitl. And I would pick Edmonton in round one over Winnipeg, because I just think Winnipeg, first of all, one of the best tendies in the league, like I mentioned before, and they've got, again, such a well-rounded team. I would be more inclined to go with Edmonton round one versus Montreal. And it's not really based on what we saw in the regular season. That means nothing. 2 years ago, when the Flames won the Pacific Division, we crushed Colorado in like almost every regular season game we played against them. Get to the playoffs and they spanked us. So that means nothing. I just think that in the grand scheme of things, out of all the four teams, I think Montreal matches up best with the Edmonton Oilers. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me on this one. Habs fans, let me know, who do you think you match up the best with? Like, okay, if somebody comes to you tomorrow and says, hey, you got to pick your playoff opponent between Winnipeg, Toronto, Edmonton, who are you picking round one for the best chance for the Habs to win? Let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, let me know what you think about that. What do you think of these new acquisitions on the Habs? What else should they do? Daily spiel, you guys know what it is. I'm down there reading the comments. Like, subscribe for more daily hockey content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.